Alright dudes, I was recently drawing the heart chakra symbol, and while I was drawing it I did a bit of investigation into what the heart chakra is, what its role is, how does it work, what does it mean, and here's what I found out. This is another symbol that starts with the seed of life, which is, I shouldn't be surprised by now, no one should be surprised, but the seed of life literally creates everything. Does it literally create everything? Almost creates everything, not literally, but almost. And yeah, here's another example of the seed of life creating a symbol. I think for the ancient civilizations, this was a very sacred symbol. It obviously was because you see it everywhere, but I'd say it was probably the most important symbol to them because it creates everything, or almost everything, pretty much everything. So the seed of life divides the circle into 6, and we've got a 6-pointed star in the center of the heart chakra symbol. This is known as the Shatcona or a hexagram. And if we double 6, we get 12. That's how many lotus petals the symbol has. Its color is green, and sometimes the petals will be colored red. The heart chakra is all about cooperation and integration. It connects the physical world to the spirit world and brings balance. That's what the two triangles represent. The one pointing down, the one pointing up. They're coming together, balanced. And when things are balanced, you've got that unity that brings calmness and serenity. It's associated with the ability to make your own decisions outside of the realm of karma, to follow your heart and not the desires of your lower self. The Sanskrit name Anahata means pure or clean. It's talking about that feeling that appears when one is able to become detached and witness the confrontation of two opposing forces. It also means the sound produced without touching two parts. So it's harmony, basically. Two sounds that are created separately to produce a new sound. It's located in the center of the chest, right next to the heart, and it governs the heart and the blood. It also governs the lungs and the arms. So if you have an imbalanced chakra, you'll get problems around there. It can make you asthmatic, you can get bronchitis, you might get problems with the lymphatic system, and it also affects your wrists, your shoulders, and your upper back. Some other problems that might pop up if it's imbalanced are feelings of loneliness, bitterness, jealousy, loss of hope and faith, and an inability to trust in anything or anyone. It can also lead to excessive isolation. You become a hermit, basically, because you don't trust no one, you don't love no one, you don't want to see no one. Not good. But if it's functioning properly, you'll feel connected to everything. You'll feel complete, compassionate, hopeful, trusting, forgiving, loving. You'll appreciate the beauty in everything, and you'll be able to set yourself free of your ego and just live. If you meditate on this chakra, it's said that you'll become an excellent speaker, a more caring person, and best of all, you'll be able to leave your body at will and come back into it whenever you want. So this is the mandala that I'm making. Heart chakra is the 4th chakra. So this is the 4th in my series of chakra mandalas. I'm trying to do them all, and I'm trying to use sacred geometry to create them so they all have this perfect balance, this perfect harmony, and yeah, make them more pleasing to the eye. Because if you draw a mandala without using the proper ratios, it's unclear what's wrong with it, but your eye will tell you there's something wrong with it. Or not that there's something wrong with it, but there's something not quite right with it. So it's all about finding that golden ratio, finding the right balance, and it's just more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, just naturally, because that's what our eyes are. That's what our brains are wired to find beautiful, is anything that is created using sacred geometry and using the golden ratio, using the Fibonacci sequence. Our brains are just wired to resonate with those patterns. So whenever you're designing anything, you should always think, about using the golden ratio. And always, if you can, it's hard to explain, but you need to make sure that everything links to everything else. How can I put this another way? Well, everything has to be in harmony with each other. Every new line of the mandala, every new pattern should be in harmony with all of the other lines and patterns. I like to draw everything in like one or two different weights. Normally I'll go with like a 0.8 and a 0.2 for the whole outline, and then once I've done that, I'll just thicken up the lines a bit just to it gives it more depth. It looks more layered. I wish Unipin made a pen that was already like this thick, so it was like 2.5 maybe, just like the same nib, so it's not a brush pen or anything, it's the same nib but thick. That would be sweet. I would buy so many of them, because I used to draw mandalas really small, because when I was traveling all the time I just used to keep a small sketchbook. The pages were only like, it was like A5 basically. So I used to draw really small mandalas, and it was like really detailed, and I would use like a 0.05 for a lot of the details, like a lot of the line work. Now I hardly ever use a 0.05 for the lines, hardly ever even use a 0.1. But when you're drawing a mandala that small, the 0.8 is like the perfect weight for your thicker lines. And I could draw them so much faster because they were so small, and doing the dot work. The dot work at this size takes 10 times as long. I'm actually, I don't know, I've hit kind of a wall with the dot work, because I've been doing it so much and for so long now. Like I first started using the dot work technique, started stippling about 6 years ago, I think 6 or 7 years ago. No, it was like 8 years ago. Holy crap. Yeah, 8 years ago. And I've just been doing it constantly since then. And my right index finger, starting to feel it, and I've been thinking maybe it's time to pack it in and just try some new techniques. But I love the way it looks. I just love the style, because what really got me into mandalas in the first place, before I even started looking into sacred geometry, was Dartwork Mandala Tattoos, and I just fell in love with that style and wanted to recreate it, because it's like when you're doing it, there's like this technique that you have to do if you want to do it fast, where you have to like lock up your hand into like this claw and just keep it locked in the same position. And like sometimes when I'm doing these dots, they'll take me 4 hours. It'll be like a 4-hour session of just doing dots, and my hand's just locked into this claw the whole time. It's not good for it, man. I think when I get the opportunity to paint again, I will do that. I'll start painting, and then it's much easier on your hands, isn't it? But we'll see. I don't want to buy any stuff right now, because where I am in the world right now is not where I want to stay. So I'm thinking that I don't want to buy loads of like art supplies and canvas and all this stuff to have to carry it around with me wherever I go next. Yeah, I just don't want any more possessions right now. Anyway, so we're almost done with this mandala. Wasn't too many dots because I wanted it to be bright, because it's a bright chakra with lots of love. So now I'm going to add a bit of color to it. I'm going to do all of this in Photoshop. Nice color palette with some greens and golds, and I'm trying to make them all, like I said, this is part of a series, so I'm trying to make them all match and have a similar color scheme that goes through all of them. But obviously each chakra has its own colors as well, so hopefully they'll all tie in together when the full series is complete. And like I was saying about things, that's why I'm using Photoshop right now to add the color, because I literally don't have any paints or colors to use. I got a few pencil crayons, but not the range that I would want to use, so I'm using Photoshop right now. But what I love about Photoshop is you can keep all the textures of the paper but have like really flat colors. I like that, because I like to design most of my things to work well screen printed, and with screen printing it's just flat colors, so that's why I don't like to worry about blending. And there we go, that's the finished piece. If you want to watch me draw this in real time or watch the extended time lapse of this drawing, head over to my Patreon. There's a link in the description. Cool. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Ta-ra.